Alright, back out in the garage. And after tonight's mess, we're just gonna go over here like this. Now let's explain. Hold on. Wait a minute. Now we'll explain what's been going on. Alright, over here on the back of the truck. We've had some generator issues. So this Generac here on the right, orange Generac frame whatever, it went to Oshkosh, Wisconsin to the air show, me and my buddy Alex, and thing ran great for a couple, 2-3 days, I don't know. Got home with it and fired it up. Wouldn't hardly run. Only get to run on the choke. If I get to where it wouldn't run at all. And yeah, there's a couple jugs over there full of, I don't know if this jug will show it or not. Let's see. Yeah, that's, oh look, I don't even see it. Can you see all that? Yeah. This part of the spooge that ended up in the gas tank. The bottom of the tank is just covered in rust. The whole thing, I mean, it's just nasty. Anyway, I pulled the tank off. Wife and I are going to Winfield, Kansas. Woohoo! In a couple days. Taking the camper. It's supposed to be stupid hot out there. I ain't sweating balls all night in the camper. I gotta have a generator to run the air conditioning. So anyway, I bought a new carburetor because the old one, when I got it apart, found out it was like the float was like full of fluid, full of gas. I drilled the hole in the float to drain the gas, and I drilled it in the bottom of the float. So much for that. Anyhow, got a good new carburetor, put it on there. It would only run on choke. It would not like run without the choke on. So mess with it. That's when I realized that the gas was full of contaminants between rust and water and whatnot. So anyway, thought, well, let's go to plan B, which was this one, which was electric start, except that it's not out here. Dad had this thing sitting outside all winter because he didn't want to have to fuck with, I mean, pardon my language, he didn't have to fudge around with dragging it out in the snow, whatever, if they lost power. I'm gonna buy him a bigger extension cord so he can just leave it in the garage. Anyhow, the key switch was all jacked up. It wouldn't crank over one another. But if I jumped across the points over here on the starter, down here on the starter, look at what you're talking about, dumbass. If I jumped across the points here, it would turn over. It just wouldn't start. So I bought a new, what did I buy for it? Bought a new key switch. Put the key switch in. So that part works now. Got to cranking over and she wouldn't start. You wouldn't start. So I messed the carburetor stuff. Ended up taking the carburetor off that thing and putting on there, and it started and ran for a little bit, and it quit again. Take it back. Before I even did that, I just stuck a spark plug up in here and laid it up on there and cranked it over. I didn't have any spark. So when I was working on this one, when I bought the new carburetor, it came with a new kill switch and one of these little doohickeys, whatever the heck that is. Hooks into the oil pressure switch. I'm assuming that's the, I don't know. Anyhow, so I took that new doohickey there off of this one, put it on there. Got spark. I think I took the carburetor off of, I put the carburetor that had the hole in it that I had tried to patch with some RTV. Anyway, bad idea. Gasoline ate it. Turned the inside of the carburetor to mush. But anyway, it did run for a little bit and then it died. And then I didn't have spark again. So I have basically jumpered around the oil pressure safety switch. This means I got to keep an eye on the oil level. and I don't know if it's the sensor that's bad, or if it's this thing here. I don't know. But anyway, the original carburetor had this vacuum controlled choke thing on it, and it also had this fuel shut off solenoid thing in the up through there, up through the bottom. It wouldn't run. It wasn't getting gas on that. Messed around. Even went so far as thinking, because this thing, when I turned the key on, the pin wasn't pulling out. So I wanted to just go ahead and cut the needle off, because obviously it wasn't working. So that didn't help. So I just went back to putting the carburetor off the Generac onto this General Electric Chicago Electric generators. These things are like identical. I mean, it's amazing how probably all made in the same factory. Anyhow, I put the carburetor off of this one onto here with the manual choke. Lots of parts and piles of stuff over here. Still got some stuff to bolt back on, but anyhow, where I'm at right now, if you turn the gas on, turn the choke on, I'm gonna hit the key on. $120 volts on that meter, about 250 on that meter. Gas off, turn that off. We don't need to listen to that thing while it's finished. So, anyhow, I got to finish putting the air cleaner back together and getting all that bolted up. I think I'm gonna put some air in the tires because it'll roll a whole bunch easier. But as long as I keep an eye on the oil level, and you know, when we camp in the camper, I'm not really planning on running the generator all night. Just depending on how hot it is. We'll get back to the camper, fire it up for a couple hours, cool her down, and then kill it, because you could tell the thing's freaking loud. It's not like those inverter generators, enclosed generators are just stupid and quiet. But if I couldn't get that thing going, my next plan was to take that tank right there and mount it up on there somewhere, somehow. And it may still happen. I got a different, because that's a Moline Z or U tank, I'm not sure. I think it's off of Z. Whatever it is. I got another one that's square that might work even better, depending on how it fits up on top of here or down in here, I don't know. I'd kind of like to do that just because this thing holds 6.6 gallons. That's good for, I don't know, 10 hours, 10, 12 hours, something like that, I don't know. I should get a marker and mark that out on the low oil shutdown. I'm guessing, I don't know, sensors and stuff, and I don't know what this all hooks to up in there for the solenoid, but solenoid wasn't working. And you know what, this carburetor here, it's a $25 carburetor over Amazon. It works. I do think I need to figure out the low oil pressure thing. This one had it, that one's got it. We got another one down at the farm that has it, and it actually has a leak between the motor and the generator head. Pretty significant leak. So on that one, that's definitely a gotta have. We don't run that one much. Probably won't run these much. Yeah, one of these might be for sale eventually, just because Dad's got a 9500 watt that dang near run the house, and these are only like 5500. So, but anyhow, that's what I got going on there in the garage. I gotta rearrange the truck, get that thing. I finish putting the air cleaner back together, and then probably gonna put a carburetor and air cleaner back on the Generac, just to button it back up. But now that this thing runs and it's charging and doing its thing, I'm not too concerned about doing anything with that, unless, you know, if I mess with the Chicago, the blue one, and it decides it's going to screw around. But yeah, I think I'm going to get that buttoned up, so I may get wild and crazy and see if I can get it off there myself tonight, get it out of there, so I get the truck more ready for the trip to Kansas. Yeah, 2021, my local show hosted Minneapolis Moline Prairie Gold Rush, Minneapolis Moline tractors and stuff, and Roger from Winfield, Kansas came out. And so now this year, his local show in Winfield is featuring Minneapolis Moline and his collection. I look, 302 still there. Oh, he looked top tank for the G. Talk about that maybe later. That's okay. Yeah, it's kind of garage part. We'll talk about that. Anyhow, I told him when I found out that his show was hosting Moline, and his collection was like the feature collection. He came to my show, I'd come to his, and I think he's more excited about my wife coming to see him than he's about me coming out. But anyhow, that's the whole big deal. It's a 10-11 hour drive. We're talking about leaving maybe sometime Thursday mid-afternoon, getting somewhere into Missouri, hopefully on the other. I'm coming from Minneapolis basically, so hopefully somewhere on the other side of St. Louis. Hopefully we can leave early enough I can get through St. Louis in the daylight. God, I hate driving through St. Louis. Anyhow, but yeah, it's, my wife's looking forward to it, which makes me happy that she's looking forward to a tractor thing. But yeah, and I probably don't have $300 and all that generator stuff, even after buying a couple carburetors and all the mess to get them going. Just kept an eye out, got them cheap. Really kind of liking that battery start. That's nice. Anyway, the Generac, because I went to Wisconsin to the tractor or the air show, it was sitting over there facing this way, and the exhaust comes out here, so it was blowing straight across in here to the side of my truck, and like that. So 3/4 copper pipe made a perfect extension. Doesn't change the noise level at all. It's still just as noisy, but it blows the exhaust up and out, so it can sit here in the back of the truck and blow the exhaust up and out, and you don't have to worry about melting your truck bed, whatever. Unfortunately, that blue one, the exhaust is not as convenient, so I think I'm gonna turn it around and put that end of the generator up there in the front of the truck, blowing toward the back. Maybe put over here in this corner, blowing toward the back, and pretty sure we're gonna unhook the camper. The reason I did this whole deal with the Generac is because I didn't plan on unhooking the camper, so I didn't want to. If we'd unhooked the camper, we could have pulled forward, turned it around. I can't open the tailgate when I'm hooked to a trailer because of the way it's. Anyway, if I'd have gone the effort of unhooking the trailer, we could have pulled forward, dropped the tailgate, just blown the exhaust, right at the camper. But I'm thinking with this blue one, if I turn around, put up there in the front corner, it can blow to the back. I don't know if it's louder being up there in the truck bed or not, but dang sure a lot less work than lifting them big heavy buggers off of there. But well, that's the plan. We'll get the air cleaner back on there, carburetor back on there. I'll probably try and lift that off and then we'll clean up a mess up in there somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure out somewhere to put that out of the way. That too much crap. I need a week of just out here cleaning and stuff. Anyway, that's where I'm at. This is probably one of my longer videos. So anyway, generator mayhem out in the garage. I'll be back.